I have 7 p.m., so I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, but we're really leading it for Rebecca Boone tomorrow. Is that, no, sometime. You're going to put it in their news stuff. So we're gonna do this a little special. If everybody would stand and join us in the pledge.
Well, we gotta get in the shot. You guys good?
Are we okay?
Are you good?
That's the board.
No, that's the board. Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job.
Thank you, directors.
Thanks for thinking of this.
Lucy, will you call the roll, please?
Yep. Ginger Shea,
Here.
Deanna Squires,
Here.
Sarah James, here. Frankie Schwartz,
Here.
Jeff Schneider,
Here.
Rich Barton,
Here.
Carolyn Sprague, here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to amend or adopt the agenda.
I make the motion to adopt the agenda.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as presented.
Just a second.
It was Carolyn.
I could, sorry. That was a little too much for me.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Board norms, I call your attention to those. I think everybody's been doing a good job sticking to that, and our meetings go pretty smoothly because of it. And we are ready for recognitions.
Yes, today we have a couple of wonderful recognitions, a couple of students. So we had an incident on the bus that required some medical attention, and we had 2 students who did just a fantastic job of jumping in, helping out on this Kloster Myers bus, and we couldn't be more proud of them and their service to their fellow friends, their students, just outstanding Warren County R3 students and citizens. So come on up, guys. We want to recognize you for your outstanding service in that emergency. We stayed calm, did what we're supposed to do. It was really great. So coming up, we'll get a picture with you, and parents coming up too if you want. Anya Kramer and Kelsey Hastings.
Yeah, I
So,
knew you didn't say their
sorry
names.
about that.
And Kelsey, come
Who's
stand
gonna
over
tell the
here
story?
with me, and we can do parents, and
Is the podium
you don't have parents with you?
No.
Okay, and let's get Mrs. Klostermeyer too, because she's the driver and she appreciated these girls very much, so, yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
All right. Good job, everybody.
You guys are welcome to stay for the whole meeting.
But you don't have to.
Oh, or not, yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
guys.
coming.
Thank
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any patron comments, Lucy? All right. Moving right along. We will do part 1 of new business so that these gentlemen don't have to stay very long. How's that? So Greg, you wanna?
Sure. So kind of a historic day in Warren County R3. Not very often that we're approving a low bid for a new elementary school in our district. So we have received bids. I'd like to thank Honer for their leadership on that. So Matt McDermott's here from Honer. And then our low bid was GS&S, which we have Ryan and John Hill are here to do that. Any questions on that? So our low bid on this was $33,888,000. That came in at about $380 per square foot. So I'm recommending that we just do the base bid plus the polished concrete. Is at this time, if we do the whole project, I'm afraid we'll run into a little cash flow because we have some unknowns with the MoDOT roadway expansion on Highway 47. So at this time, we have enough space. This will be what we need to get the project going. We do the base bid, and then at a later date, come back to the other alternates. This is everything went really well at the bid. Everything went really well with our interviews. Frankie and I sat and interviewed, went through some questions with our low bidders on this project. So feel very comfortable with them. And on the financing side, just so you know, like, how do you pay for this? $33 million is a lot of money. What we did is we've been working with LJ Hart. So as you remember, last time we sold $10 million worth of bonds to cover this. We'll do another chunk in the fall, about $19 million. And then when assessed values come back, we'll have a better idea of what our final number is with the MoDOT roadway expansions and our stoplight, things like that cost. And then we'll have to do a tax anticipation note at that point. So we'll have to borrow a little bit of money for a short amount of time, and then in March, February of 2025, or 2026, we'll cash the remaining amounts of those bonds. So we'll have to borrow a little bit. There'll be a little bit of a gap there, but it shouldn't be any problem to do that. And that's kind of been our plan all along, was to have to borrow for a short period until our cash flow caught up with us. This is definitely well underneath the $45 million that the voters approved. So we're definitely within our capacity approved by the voters. We just want to try to continue to do this under a no tax increase rate for people. So that's why we kind of have to spread it out a little bit on our financing to maintain that no tax rate increase. Is the goal. Now, if assessed values go up higher, we could do more. So it just depends on really what our cash flow looks like, and that really is dependent on assessed values in the county or our school district. So that's just in a nutshell. You know, Frankie's been involved in a lot of this. Anything you'd like to add, Frankie?
We've had a couple of meetings fairly recently with MoDOT and so forth, and that's still kind of up in the air, like Greg mentioned. And then we had a meeting with these gentlemen and went through their bid, and I think everybody felt really comfortable with everything after that. So do any of you have any questions or concerns or anything that we can answer before I ask for a motion? I know Greg sent out the subcontractors list today so that you all could see that. Nothing?
I guess the only question I had, so I think we're asking to approve alternate number 3, right, which is,
Yeah, that would be the polished concrete.
Polished
Okay,
concrete.
so when we talked with our maintenance department, they felt that would be a much easier maintenance. It would save the district in the long run off the maintenance cost. Because if it's polished concrete, you just, just buff it out, sort of thing, as opposed to a tile or any sort of anything else that might cut or rip or need to be replaced, or even have, 10 years from now, it might cost more. So, our kind of analysis internally was that it would save us in the long run if we would put polished concrete down.
John was in on the meeting and he was pretty adamant about that's really what
Okay.
he felt was the best, so. Anything else? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
Frankie?
Yeah,
hang on just a second.
Sorry.
Before you make that,
Okay.
I need to clarify something.
okay, very good.
Okay, so kind of what I thought, you do not need to do alternate 3 because the polished concrete is in the base bid.
That's what I thought too.
So-
The alternate 3
That's how I
was
read
to
it.
do.
Alternate 3 is for the LVT, which
Yes.
is a luxury vinyl tile.
Yes.
It's a no wax
Thank
tile,
you.
but
Okay,
so just to clarify,
so just
if
the.
I'm hearing correctly. you
Okay.
said
So we need
Thanks,
to
man.
the base
get
bid,
rid
the
of
performance
alternate
bond.
3,
Okay.
don't include that in the motion. We're doing the base bid and the performance bond.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's
No,
my fault.
thank you
Yeah.
for stopping us, because that was an error we would have made, so I appreciate that, Matt.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for the clarification. I think that was probably the basis of my question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I just saw the ad part there and wanted to make sure we were covered.
Well, I'll be excited and happy to make a motion to approve the GS&S construction for the base bid and performance bond to build a new elementary school as presented.
Thanks, Rich. Okay, thank you. Motion's been made and seconded to approve GS&S construction for the base bid and performance bond to build the new elementary school as presented. I'm gonna call the roll, just because I can. Carolyn,
Yes. Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Deanna. Aye. Ginger.
Aye.
And I vote aye. That's a lot of money. I just thought it'd be good to call the roll. Motion passes. We're excited to work with you all. And thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for correcting us, Matt, before we did the motion.
Yeah, congratulations, you guys
All
are
right.
welcome to stay if you
You,
want.
you don't have to stay, but you, I mean, we won't throw you out, but you don't have to stay. That's why we did it early, so.
Let the fun begin, right?
Yes,
That's right.
yes.
Thanks, guys.
I'll be in touch, guys. As soon as the soybeans out, we'll be going to work.
As soon as the soybeans are out.
Yeah, first things first, that's right.
Yes. Yes. Next week, is that what she said?
All right,
Maybe.
Have a great night, thank you.
guys.
Thank
Let's go.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, we are ready for superintendent reports.
Yep, and our first one is guidance and the counselors. I'm actually not sure who's giving that report. Okay, come on up, guys, come on up.
Somebody's
Come on up.
here.
The floor is all yours.
Thank you. Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Laura Brugge, and I'm counselor at Blackhawk Middle. I'm here with Miss Carolyn Willis, who is our educational support counselor. And we're going to talk to you briefly about the counseling program in the district. So currently we have 3 elementary counselors, 2 middle school counselors, and 5 high school counselors, including one at the Alpha program. We also have 3 educational support counselors, also known as ESC moving forward, that work amongst all the buildings. So the counselors support our CSIP goals in various ways, most notably through supporting and increasing student attendance, which is Student Achievement Goal 1, and supporting students' mental health, which is health and well-being of students Goal 2. So some examples of how we do that is at the elementary middle school level, we help track attendance and reach out to families via phone or home visits to address barriers to attendance. We work with students to increase engagement at school and build community with the families. At the high school level, they track attendance and send home pulse reports and work with students on increasing engagement. High school counselors also introduce and work with students on the A+ plan, meeting individually with students throughout their high school career to address academic and career goals and addressing A+ eligibility. All counselors work closely with building staff, teachers, administrators to identify students in need of additional support and ensure that students are met with as often as possible for prevention and when difficult situations arise. The counselors and ESCs work together to support students and families in seeking outside mental health supports by making referrals to Compass programs we are partnered with, providing resources in the community for outside counseling and psychiatric services, and referring to or attending system of care meetings where all local agencies come together with a family in crisis to discuss supports available. Counseling staff and ESCs work closely with the juvenile office, DFS, Care to Learn, Compass, and any other agency involved with our students to ensure that we're fully wrapping around our students and meeting them where they're at to support emotional and mental health needs so they can be successful as possible in the classroom. Counseling staff and ESCs provide crisis support when students are escalated emotionally or behaviorally, experiencing mental health crises, or having harmful thoughts. We also provide mediation for peer conflict and education on social emotional skills, including but not limited to coping strategies, social skills, and conflict resolution. The counselors in this district do all of this and so much more every day with the goal of supporting all of our students to be at school, be healthy, and be ready to learn so they can achieve all of their educational goals while feeling like they have a place to belong. We are always striving to ensure that students feel safe, loved, and supported while they are in our buildings so they can reach their full potential as a lifelong learner, responsible adult, and contributing member of a diverse society. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I don't have any
No questions? Thank you
Good.
for all
Thank
you do.
Thanks, guys.
I know
Glad
you
to
make a
your time.
difference.
Yeah.
All right, library program. We have media specialists here with that.
Yes, so are you guys, both of you, come on up, librarians.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here. I'm sure you've all got a copy of our report. We're not going to read through the whole thing. We're just going to offer you some highlights. My name is Shelby Graves. I'm the library media specialist at Rebecca Boone. Sarah Jinkerson is at the high school. Lynn Bueller is at Daniel Boone. Debbie Tobin is at Blackhawk Middle School.
And I'm Kylie Weber, and I'm at Warrior Ridge.
The collections of materials within each library is ever-changing in order to most effectively meet the anticipated needs of the students and staff. As curriculum, student interests, and current events evolve, so do the needs of materials within a library. Therefore, each library is continuously purchasing new materials and removing out-of-date and damaged materials, so appropriate and relevant resources are available when needed. Students at the elementary level currently attend the library with their homeroom classes once per week for 55 minutes, as well as independently when needed. When students attend with their homeroom class, they practice the skills needed to become independent users of the library. All students, K through 5, select books of their choice and learn how to use technology in meaningful ways.
We have written rewrote the library curriculum back in 2020, and I'm excited because I get to my first revisit of the library curriculum next year in 2025. And our circulation totals have, especially in the elementary level, have gone up throughout the last 3 years. So that has been a big highlight to get to see. Students are always eager and ready and excited for new books that come out or books that they have been introduced in the past or with teachers. So it's a very exciting time for them to get to pick out their books.
I think it's really important for students to get their hands on books, whether or not they can or cannot read them. It's just really important for them to feel that book in their hands. The library has continued to evolve and adapt to the needs of its students and staff. Today's librarians are more than the keepers of books. Today's libraries are offering services beyond that of print and physical circulation. Spaces are being transformed to meet the needs of students and staff, allowing for areas of collaboration and community. Instructional partnerships continue to develop and deepen as librarians work with educators to enhance curriculum, and students are being empowered to utilize digital tools curated and implemented as part of the learning process. Each librarian works to support the unique goals and needs of its building, and the following successes are indicative of provided opportunities and services within our district's library programs.
So we're going to focus on just a few of those elementary successes. And we spend a lot of focus on our state award categories. We have our Mark Twain Awards, which are our chapter books for grades 4 through 6. We have our Show Me Awards, which are picture books, and they're for grades 1st through 3rd. And then we also end up presenting the Building Block books, which are our picture books for birth through kindergarten years. And the Dogwood Awards is the top new nonfiction. And a new award that has come out just recently, the Denny O'Neil, is the top new graphic novel award. We also have some incentive programs because it is a little bit more challenging for some students for the Mark Twain Awards. So we have some incentive clubs and some incentive challenges for them at the different buildings as well. Rebecca Boone and Warrior Ridge also do a daily news production. And we have had, Warrior Ridge has had 2 author visits, one last year and one just recently yesterday. And Rebecca Boone is getting ready to have their author visit tomorrow. Really excited. And those are some of the highlights there. We also get to further our learning and further our expertise in the library with attending the MASL, or the Missouri Association of School Librarians Conference at the Lake of the Ozarks. And Mrs. Graves and I and Mrs. Jackerson have all been able to attend within the last few years. So that has been a reward for us to get that more knowledge to provide for our students and more opportunities to provide for our students.
So in conclusion, the libraries and librarians of Warren County R3 are committed to developing and progressing our programs in the principal interest of our school communities. Investing in students, staff, and the overall school community, our library media specialists are dedicated to suggesting and providing materials, acting as instructional supports, and providing collaborative spaces. We strive to be the heart and hub of our respective buildings. Do you have any questions for us?
I did see in the thing, I know that she's not here to speak into it, but I didn't realize that Mrs. Jenkerson is down so many shelves, and so it looked like as this report, it looks like there's not a timeline on when she's going to be getting more shelves. Is there?
As far as I know, there's not.
Yeah.
But again, I don't feel like I can speak on that.
No, that's why I was just like, but it was like jarring when I was reading it, and I know you guys can't. So it's just something that now we're aware of, and so we can try to figure out what needs to happen. So.
Thank you for everything you do, because it's not, you know, one time I think, as an educator myself, that it always sometimes seems like a cush job, but in our society today, it's far from that. Thank you for all you do to, you know, because it's not easy. We appreciate it.
It's not, but we love it.
I know you love it.
That's what's important.
Keep the books in the kids' hands.
That's
Yes.
right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Technology, you're up.
Right, Mr. Greer, our Director of Technology.
We need help with tech, right?
There was an next.
Only there's someone who knows about technology.
I think this was planned.
Yeah, it's good job, Lucy.
That's actually awesome. He didn't want to.
Give it a minute. 5 seconds. Here you go. No, it's not very good.
Oh, there we go.
You pass.
Good help, good
Thank you,
help.
Ronnie.
You pass.
Figures I'm the one that has technical difficulties. I'm Ron Greer, I'm Director of Technology. The Technology Department exists of one director, one student information coordinator, 2 system administrators. I guess I should advance this. Oh, my formatting's wrong. 2 technicians, a 1-to-1 technician, an administrative assistant / registrar, and we have 2 seasonal techs as needed, mostly for the summer. Update on goals, we've continued to work with MS-ISAC, which is the subdivision of the Department of Homeland Security. We've been following all their advisories and directions to improve our security and keep our network safe. Our system administrator, Stephen Schaefer, is our security guy, and he is on the ball. Sometimes he keeps us a little too secure, but I'd rather be too secure than not. I mean, in this day and age, you're hearing all the horror stories of schools getting hacked, and knock on wood, he has kept us very safe. We work with the Professional Development Committee to provide ongoing technology. We are constantly collaborating with Dr. Strong and Mrs. Etcher and now Mrs. Dildine to make sure that teachers have the ongoing support that they need. In alignment with our one-to-one learning initiative, every student in the district has Chromebooks now. Officially, the Chromebook one-to-one learning initiative is grades 5 through 12. We would like to extend that down to 4th grade next year and get their dedicated Chromebook issued to them in 4th grade. And we have 1 student enrolled in our Chromebook repair class, and that also is a self-study for certification. And that is Tyler Simpson, and he actually worked for us over the summer, and he is a great kid. And I know Miss Albertson he's doing great in her class, and we're just we're hoping he comes back with us next summer and doesn't go off and meet the world as soon as he graduates. In the last couple of years, we've been transitioning from purchasing Promethean boards to new line panels. The teachers seem to have positive feedback about them. The goal this year is, so that's grades 3 through 5 now that have been replaced. Our goal is to replace second grade this year, and if funds permit, I'll try to also replace first grade this summer. We currently have 5,457 devices, which is slightly down from the last couple of years. Now that we have enough devices for all the students and teachers and everything, what really drives our number of devices is class sizes. So the class sizes are a little bit down, so we have fewer devices. And in my long report, there's more detailed information about how that all breaks out, which I won't go into too terribly much detail. Help desk tickets, we've had 747 as of last Thursday when I had to do the report. We had 747 technology-related service tickets with 36 unresolved. Our team maintains an impressive resolution time of 25 business hours. State it wants us to have them in 3 days or less, so that's right on par for state. And last year during the same, and we have 100% satisfaction rate in the last 30 days. So during the last year in the same period, we had 798. I am not advancing slides. So the black line is the complete last year, the red line is so far this year, and then the gray area is the min-max for all the years we've been collecting data, which is, I think it goes all the way back to 11-12 school year. So as you can see, last year we were right down the middle of the gray most of the time. This year, well, for September, the tickets are pretty low, so we're actually doing good. I will contribute that to, we had a web contract with a web filter for the last 3 years. That was not a very good 3 years, so, and that cost a lot of extra tickets. So now that we've moved on, our load is a little less in that department. So last year we had a total of 2,210 technology tickets. We've been using FreshDisk, which gives us all lots of nice statistics. And then our one-to-one program, last year we had 570 reported issues. Ms. Albertson's the sole person that handles these. And that's the black line. As you can see, last year we set a whole bunch of new records on that. And this year is the red line so far, and it has grown about an increase of 25% since last year of one-to-one issues. As of last Thursday, we had 140, and we just keep plugging away on them. Analysis and conclusion. Let's see. Oh yeah, MS Isaac, we work with them. And District Tech Committee, we have assistant principal and media specialist from every building on it. Normally when there's an issue, we just shoot an email out to save everyone time. But if there's something that we need to meet on, we will meet on it. Goals. So our goal for next year is to increase staff by one support, an additional systems administrator to add to the tech department. This is because Mr. Schaefer, while the department's average ticket resolution time is 24 hours, Mr. Schaefer's is 47 hours. And that comes mainly because he is the firewall and the web filter guy, but he is also our sole SQL administrator. So, and as we move to more database related systems, his job, his responsibilities picked up. So I would like to look into getting another system administrator to split his job responsibilities. And then continue to work with MS Isaac and keep our system secure. We'll continue to work with professional development to provide development opportunities. We're there, we just need to maintain the appropriate amount of devices for the students and staff, so no major issues there. And then I'd like to extend the one-to-one learning initiative to every grade.
And the question that I have is, you were talking, I think about, it sounds like on slide 4, you're talking about the help desk for the students and how it just continues to increase. And that looks like multiple a day. And then, like, so it sounds like a lot. Is there something that the students aren't understanding, like, about how to treat their criminal? Like, is there, like, what's happening that it's happening so much and it's getting worse?
A lot of times it's broken screens, broken keyboards. I mean, that is the majority. And I can run some numbers if you guys want to know, like, what the main issue is. I can run some statistics for you. But I think mainly it's because last year we increased the take home down to 7th grade. 7th grade got to take theirs home last year, and now this year 6th grade and 7th grade take it home. So there's more going home, so there's more travel, so there's more breakage.
Yeah, I just am concerned that the number just keeps going up, and so if they're not earning that responsibility, I don't know if, like.
And I will say, not all of those are student-caused repairs.
Okay.
Some of them are manufacturer flaws. Something happened, and it's not they're not all necessarily student fault.
No, that's great. It's great to know. I just see it increasing and continuing to increase, and so it's like, what's causing this? Like, there's some correlation, but what's causing the issues?
I believe the correlation is that more of them are going home.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
Thank you. That's my only
And I don't
question.
know if Ms. Epperson wants to chime in or not.
Yep.
Well said.
But, you know, when 7th grade started taking them home, it went to where I was picking up, it went from 1 or 2 a week that I was picking up at Blackhawk to 1 or 2 a day. And now that 6th grade is taking them home, I'm picking up 3 or 4 a day. And so it's just,
More going home and with younger students
Yeah.
might have something
Yeah.
to do with it as well, so. that
Now,
makes
oddly
sense.
enough, I do have some statistics. There are more 7th grade repairs than 6th grade.
You know, 7th grade is rough.
It-
I'll just say that. I've been there and done that, taught that, and 7th grade's rough.
I expected there to be more in 6th grade this year, but 7th grade is definitely, it's probably 1.5 times the 6th grade repairs.
It's just a rough year.
Your ticket resolution, is that on a 24-hour clock or an 8-hour day?
It's based on an 8-hour day. Actually, it's based on a 9-hour day because we stagger our hours. Some of us start early, some of us stay later so that we can cover a longer day. So an office day for us is 9 hours.
Anybody else? Thank you for everything you do, keeping us up and running.
Thank you.
Dr. Ross is going to talk about staffing here, and this might be one of our most positive staffing reports we have ever seen. So, like I like to say all the time, all personnel issues are Dr. Ross's fault, and gotta give him credit for all the great things that happen.
Throwing it under the bus a
Way to
couple of
go,
times
way to get
tonight.
started. Way to go, Dr. Ross. Trying to build you up, trying to talk about,
Wow.
so, anyway, does a great job for us. And so we get it pulled back up.
By the way, I just pulled it up on my builder and it did work, so I don't know why.
It doesn't come up as a PowerPoint, you can't move
No.
forward. It does come up as kind of like a PDF looking thing.
Yeah, but if you do it, you can still scroll down.
Yeah, we might have to do that.
There it is.
One more time.
Right.
Yeah, so scroll down.
I'm not gonna take much time, Lucy, so.
Hang on, we're getting. I'll leave it in.
Yeah, you can just.
I'll let you know. Okay, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I know we've had several reports tonight, and I don't have any hope of being as articulate or as vivacious as our media specialists. So I'm going to brief a little bit by exception, and just kind of hit the highlights here. If you'll scroll down a little bit, please, Mrs. Swales. Here, do you want to just give me your mouse so I can scroll down? Do that. Okay, so we are entering our final year of our current CSIP cycle, and so the goal has remained the same, which is to retain 90% of staff. So we have been, as you'll see, inching towards that goal, and this will be our last year with hopes to make it. So we're going to be working on these action steps extra hard this year in order to meet that 90% goal. And those action steps have remained the same throughout the 3-year CSIP cycle. As we go down, certified staff, we had 43, I guess, new changes in certified staff. I have 36 in parentheses because it's 36 new faces. We had a number of people that moved from one certified position to another. As you look through the stats there, I will just note that when we talk about certified staff, the 24 secondary should really be 23. I have 24 because we added a new certified staff member and our assistant athletic director, but if you're looking at, as opposed to last year, it should be 23, and that'll make the numbers jive correctly if you've been doing the math on me. But that is, and you see a breakdown of the certified staff that weren't teachers. So getting into our successes, when we break that down, so not included in the total, again, are those 7 in-district transfers. We had 1 employee who passed away, and then 1 retiree that actually came back to us. So I did not include her as well. And so that gave us an 85% retention rate for our certified staff. And you can see that, again, we've been inching over the last 3 years. So that's wonderful. And, you know, 5% over this year may be a big jump, but it's a jump. We're going to do everything we can to try to make that CSIP goal. When we break that down to teachers only, we're even a little bit better. So in our certified teaching staff, again, removing those teachers that transferred either to a new position or to an administrative position, something like that, we retained 86% of the staff then that would be eligible for that calculation. So again, moving in a very good direction there. Meeting with staff or sending out the exit interviews, trying to figure out, you know, what are the reasons why our staff choose to leave. Then sent a survey out to our resignations. So we have resignations, retirees, and you know, of course, some other things like our staff member that passed away. But reaching out to those that resigned, getting about 1/3 of those to respond back to me. As always, our biggest responses were staff's looking for greater compensation, or they're looking for a career location that's closer to their home. There were 2 that expressed concerns over the culture and climate of their current workplace, 1 that expressed concern over support from administration. I reached out to them, tried to have a more extended conversation than just the survey. I was able to do that with a couple of those staff members. I was able to reiterate that to the buildings. And so, you know, as much as we'd love to make every single person that works for us happy, that's a higher bar than 90%. And we'll always work towards that. And those buildings that I spoke with will certainly be doing so. But it is accounted for there. So that's certified staff. When we look at our administrators, we had 3 administrators that moved on, but that number is even, I guess, a little bit disingenuous because of those 3 that are no longer in that position, 1 made the choice to go back to teaching and 1 retired. And so we really only had 1 administrator that chose a different school district over us. And so even though it's 87.5% there, really it's much more, I guess, good Than that, yeah. So like I said, I have nothing other than media specialists that are intimidating me. So moving on to the classified staff, again, we're seeing continued improvement there. That overall number, when you see the total calculation, when we go from 254 to 203, I really tried to clean up, because we have a number of positions where they were vacant for like the entire year, especially in transportation. We have a number of bus driving positions, and we're cleaning that up. We're removing those from the job list, and so I'm trying to make that a more accurate accounting. And so we were able to retain 83% of our staff that started the year with us. That does not include the asterisk there in 28. We had some positions like paras that were resigned multiple times by different people. So I focused on just the position. And so that just accounting for the little notes that I have there. But still moving in the right direction there. This was something that I started paying attention to starting my first year, because that was the year that we had a large number of our classified staff beginning of the year with a lot of deficits. And so trying to overcome those over the course of the year, paying attention to that. We started this year in much better shape than we did 2 years ago. Bus drivers continue to be our greatest area of need, and something that we've been focusing on in big team negotiations, trying to up our ability to recruit and retain those staff members. Paraprofessionals, we added some at the last board meeting, so even though there was 3 at the beginning of the year, it's plus or minus. Should the personnel sheet get approved, we'll be in a little bit better of a situation than that. But things are looking pretty good outside of transportation. I'm sure they would tell you they would like some more drivers. So touching on our successes, it's unusual. Like every year there seems to be a trend that sort of comes out in our staffing, and last year, coming into this year, that trend was welcome back. We had 3 retirees that decided to leave retirement and come back to work for us. 2 of them are our previous retirees, and 1 was a retiree from another district. So I think that's great that they think that we're good enough to leave retirement for. And then 3 additional staff that, and actually 4, now that I think about it, there were 4 staff that left Warren County to pursue employment in a different district and then came back to us, which to me is the greatest compliment that we could be received as a district when we're talking about recruiting and retention. Other successes, high need paras, the steps that we took as a district in order to prioritize high need paras, ensure that our students that need the most help have had that help. We have not had high needs paras vacancies since we took those steps. And then something that we're really going to be leaning into is registered youth apprenticeships, and I'm going to talk about why that's important for retention here in a second. But we just had our first hire for a registered youth apprenticeship within our school district last year. He's going to 4 Rivers to get the schooling part of it done this school year, but then starting this summer he will become an apprentice in our transportation mechanics shop. And so he'll be learning aside our mechanics, and hopefully from there we'll have a mechanic for life. And so that's going to be kind of the model that we really want to go through in action steps. Just this morning, myself and Nicole Omas, who's really going to be heading up this program, went to another training on these registered youth apprenticeships, because we see an opportunity to really take our students that are interested in teaching, leveraging our Future Teachers Club, to our articulation agreements with St. Charles Community College, to our Pathway to Paras program, to our Need for Paras. Like, there is a true pipeline for our Grow Your Own program if we can leverage this registered youth apprenticeship program and really identify those students that want to get into teaching. Like, we can get them started when they are a senior as a teacher's aide, learning the ropes and hopefully getting them to love Warren County like the rest of us do. And then they become paras while they're doing their early years in college, and then when they're ready, they become our teachers. So we're excited about the possibilities there. There's going to be a lot of building, a lot of collaboration there, but we will be doing that. That's going to be a big target, and we've identified how we want to go about that. That'll be something we work hard on this year. And then always we're looking for ways to increase compensation for staff. We know that is always, the ability for someone to take care of a family is going to be always a major decision maker when it comes to where you work. And so we'll always be looking for that. But that is the highlights, pending your questions.
Awesome.
Thank you.
How the only thing I was thinking is that, something that I appreciate about your presentation is that as we're talking about personnel, but we're looking at numbers, we're looking at data, I just appreciate that you're also articulating the backstories, like without sharing, obviously you're not sharing personal like, details, but it's important for us and for anyone to understand why is the number that it is, and that there really are circumstances or there are these successes, like you're saying, where it's like we might have lost someone in the past and that was a lower number that year, but we got them back. Like there's all these successes that are happening, and so I appreciate you articulating some of the backstories of the numbers and why they are the way they are.
Sure. Well, and you know, you can kind of connect the dots with all of that as well. You know, when you look at our culture and climate surveys that come back, the number one biggest thing that's always they're most positive about is our staff interactions with their fellow staff members. And so, you know, now we can even begin to understand these are the things that matter to them, to them, so that we can try to leverage that to enhance retention.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
CSIP.
Okay, this is our quarterly update that we're required to do, so I'm just gonna kind of hit some highlights while Lucy pulls this up.
Thanks for playing.
All right. So, like we mentioned earlier today, a couple people, the CSIP's being rewritten currently. We had our first meeting this week. Good meeting, great turnout. We had a good group, and so we've kind of knocked out where our top 5 areas is going to be. They're going to work on. They're going to review. We reviewed this CSIP currently, and then they're going to be either keeping some of these goals, changing goals, moving things around, different topics. So that work will be happening over the next month or so. So with Dr. Ross and I are pulling data and sending that to that group. And so hopefully January, when we officially have a full-blown program evaluation on this, we'll have a new CSIP to approve as well. So we'll do that at that time. So anyway, just kind of hit this real quickly. So the A+ goal, we saw a drop in that this year. So we had, I think, 45 seniors qualify for that. So it's a little bit down from the 60 we had the year before. So that's down slightly. Reading, so we're still monitoring that for this year. Can't really report on that at this time. Let's see, so math data, so this is our academic dashboard, which we've talked a lot about. We had our first meeting with Tableau this last week to learn the new system. We've successfully pulled data from the elementary schools and the high school, but we're having problems with the middle school. So we're working with Canvas to get data out. We don't know what's going on there. So anyway, but that's where that is. Health and well-being, this was on our website, to have a hub, which we've done. So this goal about discipline, we're just not going to make that one. So that one's just not going to work. So let's see here. Then retain staff. Dr. Ross talked in depth about that. Starting salary with Wright City, we'll probably that's just not going to happen on that one. Let's see here. Moving on as fast as I can. Mental health options, check. Let's see here. So more engagement with our parents, we've done that. Held events, it's good. So increased partnership with businesses, we're continuing to do that specifically through apprenticeships. That actually came up through our CSIP too. We had some CSIP members talking about apprenticeships for kids. So I think that's probably going to be a goal in our next one, I would imagine. We'll probably see something with that. In our facilities, you know, we don't need trailers, so we're doing good there. And we haven't built an early childhood facility. We've passed a bond issue, got a little bid. We're on the way on this one, so that's really exciting. Then the bus fleet is, we've met that goal of increasing our bus fleet to average age of 2016. So that's about as fast as I can go through that. Any quick questions or anything? Long questions?
How many board members did we have in the meeting for CSIS?
Well, we didn't have anybody volunteer. So if you'd like to join.
Any?
No, that's okay. That's right.
Oh, I feel
Okay.
bad.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's fine. We're moving right along.
When's the
well,
next meeting?
November 12th.
include November 12th.
Yeah.
Okay. I will.
It's at
make
6:30.
Effort,
No, we can only have 3.
right, but 2 would be better than 0.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be breaking it into small groups. So if you just want to shoot me an email if you want to be on it, and I'll
Okay.
add you to the list. And
Okay.
that we don't have to do that right now. What you need? Oh,
Yours is totally working.
oh, it's not working. I traded Deanna.
Yeah, it really works.
All right, thank you. Oh, yeah, this one's
Are
hot.
we-
Much hotter.
Are we meeting here?
Yeah.
Is that- Okay. All right,
What time is that?
6:30.
all right, thank you. I just,
Not a problem.
so, anybody have any questions about CSIP other than some of us need to get on that? So we're ready for finance.
Yep, so this is our regular finance report. This one works too, Sarah. So, let's see if it pulls up. Hey, awesome. I'll go ahead and get started here, so.
Mouse.
Yeah, just normal monthly report. It's kind of formatted, we're not sure what's going on with the formatting, but anyway. Revenues are up slightly compared to last year. That's mainly the money from the early childhood special education we got earlier. Expenses are up mainly because of curriculum purchase. We purchased science, it's more expensive. I think I've said that every month, so might stop saying that, but just so you know what's going on. Fund balance is down a little bit, as to be expected, because revenues are up and expenses are up, expenses are up compared to where we were last year. So we expect fund balances to trend behind, just because we have to estimate our state payments. Our state payment isn't our full payment that we're getting right now, because we have to estimate our payment for this year because the thresholds have changed. So once we do that, I'm imagining November, December, we should start seeing larger state payments at that time, and they'll probably work itself out. So we should see, when we look at our chart here, where the orange line is this year. So what I anticipate seeing is us being below last year until about December, January, and then we'll probably see it trend up, and hopefully trend up or stay about the same as this year is. We've got a budget amendment, so that has us being a little bit deficit spending, but I think we're going to be just fine at the end of the year. So not too worried about finances right now. Things are looking good and trending as expected, really. Revenues. So local is up slightly a little bit. County's up a little bit, and the state is up. Again, that's the early childhood payment that came earlier. Federal, we had our last payment last year of the COVID funding, so that was not in there this year. And so we're up about $1 million, so that's the early childhood payment. That's the main thing. So then we go to expenses. So went too far. Expenses, salaries and benefits are up. As we gave good, decent raises this year. Purchase services are up because we purchased. That special education expenses are up a little bit, but then supplies are up a couple $100,000. That's our science curriculum. That's kind of a bigger deal there. Total is, we're about $900,000 more than last year. Capital projects, we have 1.2 in there at this point, so we'll see that come down. That's the greenhouse is being worked on right now. So as that project comes to completion, we'll see that spend down, but everything's looking pretty healthy, so no real concerns on our finances at this time.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve or amend the consent agenda.
I move the approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Thanks, Jeff. I'll second. Okay, thanks, Deanna. The consent agenda, we have a motion to approve as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Consent agenda is passed. We have no old business, so we're gonna go to part 2 of new business, and the first thing is budget amendment. We were just talking about it.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Yeah, good timing. Okay, so we have just a budget amendment here. So revenues, the big chunk, you don't see a budget amendment with a $9 million increase very often, but that's from the selling of the bonds. So we've sold our first chunk of bonds. We need to get that in the budget, get that moving forward, and that'll be our fund forward. But then we've also are estimating a decrease in what we thought we were total would receive in state funding, just because our free and reduced lunch numbers dropped by about 100 students from last year to this year, and that was where we're kind of counting on additional funding. Good news for our community. To have less kids approved, that's great news for our community. But funding-wise, to see that drop really, it kind of hurt us a little bit, but we'll be fine. We'll be fine. So we did get some grant revenue that's in there as well. And so then we also looked at salaries and tried to since we're doing a budget amendment, try to get those to actual, because we added the new paras last time, try to get that to as close to actual as we could. And then, some other things we did was, we had a prior year adjustment and some admin travel that we had left off on accident, a little bit there. And then capital projects, we assigned those to, the new bells to the school, so about a $47,000 increase to that. So anyway, when we look at all those things happening, right now, we're looking at a budget revision showing about a $200,000 deficit for operations. But I'm also thinking that Prop C will be up, and I think our local will be more up too. So that is definitely within our margin of error being balanced, and I don't think we'll have a problem with that. It's not alarming of $1 million deficit or anything like that, or $2 million. So we're right within the margin of error of being right at balance. So kind of curious, we'll be doing another budget amendment for sure when we sell our next round of bonds. We'll probably do another one when we get our state funding. So we're gonna see more budget amendments this fiscal year than we probably ever do. So this will probably be a living document that'll fluctuate as we go along.
You may not have the answer to this. With us reducing the numbers by 100 for our free and reduced lunch, do you know that if a similar amount of applications were submitted, and we just have, like, 'cause it's good news for our community
Right.
if people aren't
Needing
it, but it's not good news for our school if it's just that 100 less applications were submitted.
Yeah,
and
typically
we're just struggling.
what happens is we'll reach out to the same families that have qualified in the past.
Yeah.
And they'll fill out the form and they won't qualify.
Okay,
So it really is,
that people are.
making more money.
Yes, great.
Okay.
Right. That's kind of what we're finding.
Yeah.
I could be off a little bit on that, but that's what we believe to be the case.
Yeah, and all we can do is continue to let people know that if you fill out the application,
That's right.
it helps the school just to be able
Yeah.
to have the data to be able to help the school.
Right. I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the budget amendment as presented.
A second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the budget amendment as presented. Is there any further discussion or any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. And now we're back to Dr. Ross.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes.
We have some great news here though.
Staffing plan.
So yeah, this is pretty straightforward. We had a grant, Dr. Stanek does an awesome job of finding grants. So she found, I think, $70,000 grant for us to have for Care Days and Care Days in Latchkey. And she just wanted to get some help with just doing STEM projects with kids, having someone do part-time work for just the grant time only. And this is not a permanent position, it's just as long as the grant exists. But if there's somebody who wants to come and help set up and do STEM presentations and do all of that, we would just like to add that to the staffing plan. That would be a grant-funded position.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really great news.
We do need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the staffing plan as submitted.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the staffing plan as submitted. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes. And then we get to the traffic signal.
Yes, so we need to do some engineering work on the entrance to the new school and Highway 47. We've got preliminary approval, I would say, for a stoplight and some traffic adjustments. To apply for a grant that MoDOT has, we need firm numbers on how much we anticipate it's going to cost. So we need to get the engineering going on that. And so we'd recommend we go ahead and get moving with that, and then we'll use those numbers in the next month or so to apply for MoDOT's grant to help split the costs with us.
And we're gonna use CBB for that, correct?
CBB, correct.
Okay.
Which stands for?
Let me look at the contract.
I'm not sure. They're transportation engineers and planners. They do,
Oh, you're talking about, okay. I thought
Yeah.
it was one of those other acronyms that, about the traffic, but you're talking about the company that's gonna do that.
yes.
Oh, don't worry about that.
And I don't know what the CBB stands
That's
for,
fine.
honestly.
I
I'm
don't
not
either.
seeing
But yes, they do just specifically engineering
Sure.
for transportation kinds of things, so.
probably stands for crazy congestion board or something like that.
So,
Well, with all the traffic increases that we're having, and we definitely need some studies to make sure we stay on top of it, because we do not want to play catch-up.
right, and they've done the studies.
Yeah.
That's what we're basing our needs on, but we need to approve this contract so that we can have them do the engineering that's needed for it, okay?
Get the grant.
Yes.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the contract as presented.
I'll second.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve the contract as presented for the roadway and traffic signal improvements. Anybody else have any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. We have no policy first reads, so we're all the way down to miscellaneous and celebrations. I'm waiting, Rich.
I'll go first.
I knew you would.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate Coach Chad Berry and his staff, Mrs. Coach Berry and Coach Dodge. Coach Berry had his 100th victory a little over a week ago, and I know that's a big deal. I know the kids made a big deal of it and stuff, and unfortunately I wasn't there, but I did see it and saw Coach and congratulate him, because that's always, in a coach's career, that's always a big deal. There's a lot of headaches in coaching, but there's so many more positives in the future, and he's going to really remember that for a long time. So congratulations to Coach Berry and his staff, and his kids, because he knows he doesn't do it by himself. So, and the second thing I'd like to congratulate is so far the success of the televising of the games has been a big hit in the community. I can't go anywhere without somebody giving me credit for it, and I take it gladly. No, I'm just teasing. The question I always get though is, whose idea was that? And I said, well, I think, and I'm not going out on a limb here, but I think it was kind of last year when we were at the school board convention, and we were all sitting, we were the only staff that was sitting in the area there, watching our high school football playoffs at Parkway North that night. And Dr. K kind of took this idea and ran with it, because I think we actually bought that off of Misha last year, because that was basically the only avenue that we had at that time.
Right, and you'll still have to.
Yeah.
For the playoffs.
For the playoffs, right.
Right,
But I
right.
mean,
You
that
just
you kind of
launch
ran
it.
with that idea
Right,
though,
right.
and came in front of the
What a
board.
watch
and-
party.
And it was
awesome.
It was great, and
Yeah.
so anyway, to make a long story short, he took that idea and ran with it, and came in front of us, if you remember, and I think the rest of us were like, yeah, go for it, as long as it doesn't imply that we have to do anything. But really, whoever you've gotten on board, I know Keith Brown has done a great job. I've had a lot of compliments, and I've got a good relationship with Coach Brown, and it's been really cool to see Coach Adams helping him out there, putting different insight, especially on the softball end of it. And so whatever you guys are doing, great job. I've heard nothing but positive things from the community.
Well, thanks, and check out our schedule. We're trying to do about 25 this year. Dr. Ross has done a lot with that, so.
Yeah, I saw the schedule on there, and that was really cool, so I'm
It's
forward to
been a
that.
full team effort, really. Mr. Dildine from Rebecca Boone's done a lot, so
Yeah.
it's taken a lot of people to kind of get off the ground, and we always try to grow and improve on
Sure.
it, but it's fun.
Well, I mean, I've heard from, and this is the coolest part, Grandpa in Florida's watching it, or,
I know,
and
that's
so
pretty
it's,
cool.
and it's so cool that, and people says, well, has that hurt your attendance? No, because it's kind of like anything else. There's nothing that replaces being in the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
But yet, if you can't be in the crowd, there's nothing like sitting on your chair and watching it as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. It's a good avenue.
I was home with a sick kid the other night, and something I wanted to celebrate was, and I texted Ginger, but in the middle of it, they had other graphics put up, and they had the student's name of who had created the graphic.
Yeah.
Somehow related to Ginger, but I know that I know in the past he's created things, and other students can do stuff like that. And I just really loved seeing not only what was happening, but seeing the different images that could come up. And so, like when it comes to attendance, like you're saying, I wasn't going to go. We were sick,
Sure,
Right.
so but I still felt like I was a part of my community
Exactly.
by getting to see what's going on, seeing what the students are creating, watching the band. I got to watch, I mean, it's reversed, but I'm still getting to watch the band during halftime. And it just definitely does make you still feel a part of things. And so I'm grateful for all the work that you and others have been putting into it.
And I'll add on to that too, is this, I always even at church, I always give a sports report and things, what's going on in school, and it's become very popular. And I always say, even on my Sunday night port session, that we have so many good things going on, and I just want to give a shout out to all of our coaches this fall, from the trap team to everybody. The band is doing great. They're in the middle of their season. We just have a lot of great things going on and great leaders leading these programs. So shout out to all of them. And but a special tonight for Coach Barry and his 100th win.
Well said.
Anybody else have anything? We will not have a work session as such this month, but most of us will be in Kansas City for 3 days, the end of next week at the MSBA conference, and hopefully learn a lot of stuff and bring back ideas for Greg and Brad to put into practice, because we tend to do that, but good ideas that we can steal from somebody else. So I would entertain a motion then to set the next regular board meeting.
I make a motion to set the next regular Board of Education meeting for November 14th, 2024.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to set the next regular board meeting for November 14th, 2024. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes, and then we need closed session.
I'll make a motion to set the next closed board meeting to immediately precede the open session on November 14th, 24.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded for the next closed session of the board to immediately precede the open session on November 14th. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes, and I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I knew it. Thank you, Rich. I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. We are adjourned. Big second.